Sonic was originally made to be Sega's answer to Super Mario. However, when your character's sole purpose was to market a product, its fate will start to be questioned when you start to run out of ideas. That's pretty much what happened after Sonic and Knuckles ended production, and Sonic would not have a main title until Sonic Adventure in 1998. This would leave Sonic with several spin-offs during the rest of the Genesis lifecycle, and would barely have any games on the next console, the Saturn. So the Genesis spin-offs. Let's talk about all 3 of them right now. I don't want to do this, but I might as well get them out of the way. Sonic Spinball, Sonic 3D Blast, and Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Guess we'll talk about Mean Bean Machine first, since this one is really far away from the Sonic formula. In fact, so much that it was from a different series altogether. I'm sure some of you have heard of Puyo Puyo, right? Well, the series was pretty well known in Japan, but like other franchises, it was probably a little too Japan for other countries. So they experimented with 2 series to get it out. One of them was Kirby with Kirby's Avalanche. This was my introduction to Puyo Puyo, and was a good game, but Kirby's kind of an asshole on that game. Just look at him, poor Wispy. But of course, the other franchise was Sonic. In this case, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, a TV show that I'm not really fond of. It's like Looney Tunes, only with barely any character or actual jokes. Anyway, if you've never played Puyo Puyo before, it's a puzzle game where you connect at least 4 Puyos to pop them. Unlike other puzzle games, you're always going against an opponent. If it's not going against a friend, the single player will have you go against a computer player. In this case, Robotnik's robots. Some are fine to fight, but I swear the difficulty curve is so sporadic. The second fight was way harder than the third fight, and just look at Coconuts here, that smug little cheat. This should have been a much later fight, considering its constant appearance in the show too. Oh, the Puyo Rabbit is in here, I guess they missed that. Nice to see a friendly face though. Really, if you want to play Puyo Puyo, I'd recommend Puyo Pop Fever, which is one of my favorite games period. Or just wait until Puyo Puyo Tetris comes out, I'm so excited for that game! But anyway, let's move on to the more original games. Sonic Spinball. It's electronic pinball with Sonic, just a level with you. I'm not really a big fan of pinball, let alone electronic pinball, but this game is a special case. So in this story, Sonic just goes after Robotnik into a pinball-based area, and that's all I got. Your objective is blocked, and you have to hit the buttons in order to progress. But I swear the control and momentum can screw up your chances anyway. I would believe that gathering the emeralds would allow progress as well, but I wouldn't know. I keep dying to the acid in toxic caves, and I'll be honest, the only good thing about Spinball is the theme and Toxic Caves music. The only other song I know is in the options/results screen, and I'm not letting you listen to that. Trust me, you'll thank me for that. But yeah, I didn't go too far into it, didn't care to. You punish yourself if you're curious. Also, unlike the other games, I didn't have a level select code, so yeah, not going any farther than this. Sorry if I'm ending that one pretty short, but really, it's pinball with platforming in certain parts. Not much to talk about other than that. Anyway, Sonic 3D Blast, the last Sonic game on the Genesis, which would also be ported to the PC and Saturn, so I guess that means Spinball was the last true game of the Genesis? Oh, well, I'll just shut up about that. The game is a legitimate platformer, and the first game in the series to go in 3D, even if it's not fully 3D. There's an island infested with birds called Flickies, that, believe it or not, had their own game way before Sonic, and also made other cameos in other Sega franchises. Robotnik found the island and plans to take it over and turn the inhabitants into robots. Not very surprising. But Sonic goes over to the island to visit the Flickies and begins to free them from Robotnik's grasp. It's essentially the same plot, but really, no one cares. They just want to go fast and explore. Well, good news, you have the ability to do both. But exploring doesn't really reward you as much as the last games did, and speed is almost always a bad idea. Why is that? Well, let's start from the top. First, collecting 50 rings will take you to the special stage like the first 2 games, though this time you have to go to Tails and Knuckles, who are also there. I mean, I get why Tails is here, he's Sonic's best friend, but why is Knuckles here? Doesn't he have a Master Emerald to guard? All he does here is stand and do his adorable little dance. Shimmy shimmy. And I also have to question why they take you to the special stages as well. They just take all of your only source of life and magically teleport you to a mystical bridge of hell. Never knew my best friend was a little selfish prick. Knuckles was predictable though. Shimmy shimmy. And talking about the special stages for a moment, they aren't too bad. You have to go across a long hallway similar to Sonic 2's half-pipe, but you're blocked by pike balls on the bridge, which can be a pain to avoid. Again, I just ignore the emeralds. They aren't necessary to beat the game, and I would not want to imagine how crazy the game would be with Super Sonic. Ugh. Okay, the other problem is the flickies themselves. There are 5 enemies in each section, each act having 2 or 3 sections. Each enemy has a flicky inside that you have to escort to the end of the section, and getting hit will scatter every flicky you have at your disposal. Some are too hard to grab, like blues and purples, but the red ones like to bounce around and green ones don't even make an effort to find Sonic. And take note that flickies can get hit individually as well. Cowards. Shields return as they guard both Sonic and the flickies. But if you're thinking that they're the amazing elemental shields from 3 and Knuckles, I wish. You have the ordinary blue shield from 1 and 2, the red shield that makes Sonic fireproof, but it's not the fire shield, so the dash doesn't make a comeback. Would have been really fun to use though. And the gold shield that, unfortunately, doesn't attract rings as sensual as it sounds. Gives you a homing attack, which makes taking out enemies much easier. And it also makes the first appearance of the technique. If only it was an actual technique Sonic would have. That would have been amazing. With all that said, the rest of the gameplay... oh lord. Well, let's say this. Do you like ice physics? Do you like going fast while going on ice? No? Well, this certainly isn't the game for you. It feels like Sonic has butter on his shoes every time, which makes dodging a little difficult. And to make this even better, that's not the worst part. There are other ways to get to other places, like these boost pads that take you on a set path until you cancel it with a jump. And the spinny fan-powered power-up that can break stuff, but put more butter on the already buttery shoes. And the level design can kick your butt in so many ways. Rusty Ruin and Spring Stadium, oh good lord, you will get damaged and looking for everything for what seems like hours. Speaking of which, the levels can take way too long, shut up. And the bosses, oh good lord, they're even more hit and miss than Sonic 3 and Knuckles. You have some pretty decent ones, like the first boss and the second one, but then you get the bullshit ones like the Lava World and... oh lord. But I will say, the final boss is actually really fun. This is easily the best boss in the game, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. This is one of the best parts of the game, honestly. Presentation-wise, it looks pretty good, but the character models look kind of gross. Poor Tails, he looks like he just got shot out of a dirty anus. You're welcome for the image. And the music actually isn't too bad, but they don't burn as much of an impact as the original trilogy does. Though some like Green Grove and Diamond Dust are phenomenal. And these songs actually get remixed and later get... actually, I'd rather not talk about them right now. But really, that's better than what these two try to do. I know I didn't talk a lot about the music in these two, but there's the thing. Mean Bean Machine only has one track that repeats in every single match, and Spinball only has 2 memorable tracks and nothing else. I'll give credit to 3D Blast for that alone. Unfortunately, that's its only saving grace in my opinion, and also the only reason why I didn't go mentally insane. It's interesting how some of the greatest games in Sonic's history would also share the same system as some of the most lackluster. And I haven't even got to the rest of the games, on the Genesis add-ons, the Saturn, PC, or the Game Gears. Sonic, even in his heyday, was losing himself so quickly, and eventually he'll get his footing, but he loses it right after, every time he does too. I love Sonic, I love the characters, and I love some of his games, but I can't ignore the fact that Sonic is one of the most unstable franchises in gaming history. I can only hope Mania and Forces helped Sonic to become what he was in the early 90s, and it seems like Sega is trying. But those are stories for another time, and I have a couple of games left, and I'll talk about those before I move on to other games and platforms. I'm just going to pray that the series keeps going strong. Well, I got a couple of new adventures to go to. I'll play with you guys then.